Mr. Twitter Fingers is back at it again, and Meek Mill is not an artist that I make a video like this about with like cheer in my heart. You know, I used to be a big fan of Meek Mill. Meek Mill's music used to speak to me. There are records of Meek Mill's that still speak to me to this day. But it was a Meek Mill that was hungrier, more realistic, it seems, one that didn't really prioritize drama and chasing clout over, you know, the quality of the music or the quality of the soul that he would put in his records, you know, because you could feel Meek Mill whenever he spits. He's got that powerful delivery. I made a video the other day where I was pretty much praising If You're Reading This Is Too Late because it was a great record for its time. And I said in the video, you know, it's crazy how Drake hadn't been the one to finish off Meek Mill's career. Meek Mill's career actually got a ton of revival after Jay-Z and a bunch of other artists were behind him when he was going through that whole legal situation a few years ago. Had he played his cards right, he had all the push in the world to propel his career. I think at that point he was the biggest he'd ever been, or at least since Dreams Worth More Than Money came out. Some of those sales, which his biggest haters will probably attribute to his relationship with Nicki Minaj at the time, but Championships did almost as well, selling well over 200,000 copies first week, with almost a quarter of those sales being pure record sales. I say all that to say that Meek Mill isn't just getting this newfound wave of hate. He recovered from his back and forth with Drake, started putting out better music. When the system was against him, the people were behind him, the industry was behind him, and he's doing this needlessly, unnecessarily bringing up Kobe Bryant in a line that is just why artists even feel the need to throw Kobe's name around carelessly in a tragedy that happened with not only his daughter, but other people as well. I'll never truly understand. I don't know how large your ego or level of infatuation with yourself has to be to presume that level of importance that you are not only equal to a man who did so well in one field that he transcended that field entirely, that his loss wasn't just felt in the basketball community, but in any community that values fatherhood, entrepreneurship. It's terrible at this point that Kobe and Gigi Bryant's name are almost synonymous, because I can't say Kobe Bryant's name without also thinking about his daughter. And if you think about that, at 13 years, that's an unimaginable level of loss. And to keep bringing it up for the sake of a rap song. And I took my own thought process out of this. I was like, yo, what if I'm not even offended by the bar? It's not even good. You doubled down once again on Twitter. Always tell me she loved me, but she ain't ever showed me. Yeah, and if I ever like I'm going out with my chopper, it'd be another Kobe. This is the bar? It's such a force. It's such a reach. Like, if you lack it, you ain't got a chopper on you, number one. I guess the Kobe chopper, I get, like, that's really what you said. That's what you wanted to do? Really? Like, this nigga tweets like an unsigned DJ. You had nothing clever to say about 6ix9ine randomly running up on you, supposedly catching you outside of a club. The furthest your brain capacity could reach for that was, why did he pick me? What the fuck? LOL. Here's my bigger issue. Not even necessarily that the bar was distasteful. It's more so that, like, who do you think you are? I'm not even saying that Meek Mill can't think himself to be a great guy, a decent person. But do you really think, with the work ethic that you've shown, the level of rapper that you are, you really think that you would be comparing yourself to a Kobe Bryant? You are the Kobe Bryant of rap. Is that what you're trying to say? That's just a fallacy. That's incorrect. Factually, that's incorrect. Regardless of how you feel, Meek Mill has compared himself to Martin Luther King. He's portrayed himself as an activist. And I'm like, what the fuck have you done to garner this kind of, I don't know, view of yourself? I think confidence is a great thing, right? Confidence is something that we all should have that. But let's be realistic here. This is what you're saying? In what capacity could a Meek Mill fan, if y'all could tell me, or Meek Mill himself, give me, what capacity could you tell me, hey, people out there should want to be like me? Is it when you're giving young men in Philadelphia $20 to split amongst 5 or 6 kids? Is it when you're posting every thought to social media? Is it when you're passing off basic surface level knowledge with zero insight or zero nuance into the subject that you're discussing? Is it when you're passing off stuff like that as dropping gems? Is it when you're using an iconic figure who past along with other people and his daughter for the sake of a rap bar that doesn't even make sense in context of in the scheme? Is it when you're doing that people want to be like you or follow you? Because when I think of Kobe and I think of someone that would compare themselves to Kobe, I would think, wow, this person is either just as influential, just as talented, just as driven, just as known, just as consistent. But when I think of Meek, none of those things come to mind. So I don't say what I say as just simple sensitivity to the Kobe Bryant bar. I say what I say because it's literally just inaccurate. Why would you even compare yourself? The level of ego in Meek Mill's mind has to come back to a more realistic level, because there is a certain point where braggadocio goes too far, and we should be above using traumatic events for the sake of entertainment. Because Meek Mill, who cried and screamed injustice and systemic oppression, someone who, if they were the average Joe and not Meek Mill, wouldn't have had their case heard and thrown out and been in prison a long time ago. Meek Mill would be the first to tweet about this situation if someone white or someone who didn't understand the culture or didn't understand Kobe's influence were to have come out and tweeted a joke or made light of the loss of a Kobe Bryant, the loss which his family is still getting over. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to keep bringing that up when you know that there are other people, his family, his teammates, the people who knew and loved him, are not even privately but openly mourning. Seeing that would kind of take that name away from your repertoire of people I would publicly compare myself to for the sake of a rap song. The fact that Meek Mill doesn't think like this well into his 30s kind of lets me know that you probably don't care about like the journey of an individual. You just care about their end result. Take me, for example. I don't know shit about Meek Mill. I would never compare myself to him because I don't know what he's been through. I don't know what it took Meek Mill to get to Meek Mill's level, but I would never say I am Meek Mill. I'm the next this, I'm the next that. No, I'm the only me. When you are good enough, what is the comparison for? Like, that just screams insecurity to me. And sure, rappers do it and a ton of people have been doing it for years, but it's old, it's tired, it's not clever. You're not the first to do it. You probably won't be the last. And sure, Kobe Bryant's fans could scream at Meek Mill and like, oh, that's disrespectful. Oh, you can't say that. But you'd be wrong. To those of you who think that Meek Mill isn't being insensitive, I should be able to say this. Fact, if Meek Mill were to have passed tomorrow, the reaction that people would have would be nowhere near another Kobe. That's fact. Of course I don't want that to happen. Would you understand if your son, your baby's mother, your brother, your sister, your family were to be upset if someone were to come out with a lyric almost barely a year out from your death about how they're the next you or how they would be the next you if they passed? What are you okay in the head? I really have nothing else to say about this. Like, Meek Mill should just stay away from social media, in my opinion, and keep making music. Hopefully he has another hit and people forget about this. But wow, this was just unnecessarily stupid and you just drew negative attention to yourself for no reason.